Welcome to the Glorious Pro Wrestling Podcast, where two nice boys talk about pro wrestling. I'm Andy. With me, my co-host is Danny, and today we have a special guest, Washington-based Rogue Wrestling Attractions,
just north.
Portland-based Blue Collar Wrestling, Mario Defederici. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I am doing amazing, guys. I hope you guys are doing well as well.
Doing all right. As we speak, Dynamite is airing here on a Wednesday on the West Coast.
Hell yeah.
So first off, welcome. We usually like to start these just by kind of from the beginning of your journey, if you will. If you could tell us a little bit about like that very first moment that you came across pro wrestling in your life. If it was like in a toy aisle.
In my life or in my professional career?
In your life. Just like when professional wrestling first hit that ring. And,
wow.
Yeah, when you first saw that.
It fun. I'd like to joke, and say like it's, even like before conception. My family has been watching pro wrestling for my family's been watching pro wrestling for 3 generations on both sides.
Oh hell yeah. It's an inherited.
So,
it's an inherited.
Yeah, absolutely. So on my dad's side, my grandmother came over from Germany during World War II to America, trying to get a better life. And while she was over here, she found wrestling. And, there was only 5 channels at the time of whatever TV was on. And so her favorite was always the Junkyard Dog. My dad would tell me stories about her like screaming at the TV, yelling for Junkyard. And my dad tells me stories about how she would take him to big time wrestling in Oregon.
Yeah.
And then, my dad, growing up in like the 80s, his favorites, he loves Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, he loves Slapnuts. That's his favorite thing ever. He's still like, yes, yeah, it's funny. He loves Jeff Jarrett. And then, on my mom's side, my grandfather was in the Navy, and so he was stationed in like Hawaii and all that stuff, and he would like visit there as well. And so when he was in Hawaii, he would always watch the Hawaiian promotions.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
I actually have it's not signed, but it's a super old printed out photo of the missing link from when he was performing in Hawaii.
Damn.
Yeah, it's super cool. And then my mom grew up in like the early 90s, and then going on into like the Attitude Era. Her favorite was always The Rock. She loves The Rock.
Sure, of course.
Classic
Yep.
And then so when my mom and dad, met, I'm I'm a baby.
Brought them together.
It definitely helped. It definitely helped for sure. Because it was something that like, they both were able to bond over, and like watch with, my older brother and then me as well when I came along.
Right.
And so, they all kind of like teetered out of it after a while, as it kind of entered like Ruthless Aggression era and all that. But, it never left me. Like I was the one where it stuck true, and and I was obsessed. I dressed up as Jeff Hardy for Halloween, and like it. Yeah. So it's before conception essentially is where wrestling started for me.
Right on the head. That is a great story. So are you the first wrestler?
In my family? Yes. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I say that to my dad, that, after so many people in our family watching it, I think it's time that one of us gave the thing a damn try.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. What was their reaction to that? Like
nothing but support. I have gotten nothing but support from both sides of my family and like all my friends, everybody in my life. I haven't gotten any, any backlash or any retaliation or anything like that. My mom doesn't like it when I get booed, but that's about as most of it goes.
Not a lot of people when their kids get booed.
Yeah.
Good on
Yeah,
you.
but other than that, I've been met with just full support. They love coming and buying my merch. They love screaming Mario. Um, so speaking of the name Mario Defederici, it didn't just come out of nowhere. Defederici is my family name on my mom's side. They're very, very Italian. So yeah, my great grandfather, the first one who emigrated here through Ellis Island, his name was Mario Defederici.
Ah,
There we
okay.
go.
Yeah, so
heritage in layers, folds
Yeah.
and layers.
yeah, it's not just a made up Italian fake name. It's real, and it's
Good
my
one for wrestling,
yeah.
like Wrestling Federation.
Yeah, it's my blood. It's my blood.
It is truly. So what does that wrestling journey start? How did it's like? Okay, one of us ought to give us the damn thing. When did that happen, and what did that look like for you, Mario?
So I would talk to my dad for, ever like when I was like 18 and going on. I'd say like, I think wrestling would be a really cool thing to try, but I didn't know anything about indie wrestling or like the community in Washington, Oregon, anywhere. I had no info about it. And then one night I was at work and I was just scrolling through my phone on my break, and Kenny Cash, the owner of Rogue Wrestling Attractions in Aberdeen, he had bought an advertisement space on Facebook, and so that advertising space transferred over to Instagram. And so I saw an ad for Rogue Wrestling Attractions on Instagram, and it said accepting new students now or whatever. And I was like, all right, I'm based in Olympia at the time, and so it's an hour drive away. And I'm like, but I think if I have a chance, this is my chance to give it a try. And you always hear all the wrestler stories about, I drove 4 hours back and forth for practice, in a dungeon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a cakewalk compared to all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's an hour. Not too bad.
Yeah. So I did a tryout at RWA. Admittedly not a great one. I'm no like natural athlete. My strengths come more in the character and acting department. But they saw how much I loved it and how much I had a brain for it. I'm a freaking nerd when it comes to this stuff. I'm not just like a casual fan. I'm like a diehard. So he was like, all right, you're annoying as hell, but we get that you love this, so you'd be a great like addition.
Probably going to be hard to get rid of you. So
kind of like a cockroach.
Yeah, we might as well just feed it and turn this into our benefit.
Yeah. So in prep for the tryout that we scheduled, I scheduled it like a week in advance. I had this very small apartment gym that I would go to and work out. And what I would do is I would go there at very early hours in the morning when nobody else was there, and I would practice bumping on the hard carpet floor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I had those very thin puzzle piece mats.
Wow. Yeah.
And I listened to all the videos of like how to bump, and it's like either you do it right or you do it and it hurts. And so I'm like, all right, either I do it right or I hurt myself. And I taught myself how to do it right. And so like I didn't have much to show for myself by the time I got into the tryout, but I could bump. I could bump and I could do it confidently. I had the motion, I didn't whiplash myself. I didn't concuss myself. Like that was the one thing I could bring in there and be like, hey, look, I can already do this.
Wow.
And yeah, that's one of the things you're going to be doing a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
So you just taught yourself before this tryout even happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
That's ambitious.
Yeah, on my Instagram, there's a video you can see of me bumping on this hard carpet, and it's just me bumping and yelling to myself, "You can do it better, and you can do it again. You can do it better. You can do it again." And I just I barked that at myself until I got it down.
How long was it before you started your first match? How'd that go?
Oh wow! So I started training in 2022. That's when RWA started, and very 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 recent. I'm only 24. So yeah, I started when I was 22 in 2022. And then it took about 2 years for me to have my first match. So I had my first match in the beginning of this year. Danny, when we met, Danny, and you handed me the the sticker information for you guys, that was my third match.
No way.
That was my third match.
Holy
yeah.
shit. We are a star is born in the Pacific Northwest. And right here on Glorious. That's crazy. How did you feel about that match, by the way?
I loved it, dude. Draven Vargas, I cannot give him enough props and credit. He's awesome. He warned me beforehand. He's like, I laid in firm. And I'm like, good. That means I can too. Great. That gives me something to really bounce off of, and it can that. I like that. And so we had a full just chop shop of just fucking hits on each other, and he was hitting me in the he was hitting me in the sternum. It was kind of funny. He kind of threw his chops all over the place, and so I was kind of red everywhere, but I threw mine in the exact same spot every time. So he had a full handprint of my hand along his left chest piece. It was fully, you could see where my thumb was. It was impressive. So I loved it. Any of the Hellbound guys, I love working with them. The Rat King has been, who's in Hellbound, he's been my main, I would call my main coach. He's really taking pride in training me, and doing it in a way to where he's not trying to run me out. He's not trying to just beat me down to death, and so I just I leave the business because he thinks I'm going to take a spot. Him and the rest of Hellbound are really supportive and into wanting to help these new guys out.
Could we see Defederici in Hellbound? In a Hellbound rolling with Hellbound?
That I feel like if that's the case, it'd be a gang initiation thing. I think they had to jump me first.
They weren't that. I mean, not too far off with those chops and having a sunburn afterwards.
Honestly, not too far off. Who knows? Who knows?
The future is wide and open for you. Damn, especially if that's your third match. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So since we met, Danny, I've had 2 matches since then. Another one in BCW and one more in RWA. And then it was just announced, I believe, 2 days ago. RWA is going to Spokane, so I will be there as well.
Plug the date.
Yeah, that will be in September 14th. Road Wrestling Attractions in Spokane.
Boom! Nice. There it is, listeners. Spokane listeners, you know where to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. That's RWA's first time. Crossing over the mountains and going over the eastern side. So we're really excited. We're feeling really motivated. I take pride in being an RWA guy. And I'm really stoked for the expansion.
Yeah, that's really cool. Can we expect you in Portland anytime soon?
Absolutely. I am not at liberty to announce dates or matches or anything like that. So you can catch Pacific Northwest Blue Collar Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram. On Instagram, it's PNW BCW. And that full name on Facebook, they update probably about a week before the show happens, And
we're talking first and third Sundays, yeah.
Yep, first and third Sundays of every month. Yep, every 2 weeks.
All right, there's the hot plugs.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for the space.
So what do you say your current style is? Is there anybody that you currently look at and you're that's kind of what I want to aim for? Or a style that you're kind of oh, this is really cool, or different?
So like I said earlier on, I'm no natural athlete. I played baseball for over a decade, but I don't really attribute much to that.
Not too shabby, better than nothing, right?
Yeah, like I think it allowed me a lot of like team building skills and all that. But
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But like direct influence, style wise, I love like William Regal, and like the like British hard style and like submissions and just like hard hits. Like that's always been very appealing to me, and I want to work that more of that into like how I perform. Also, being trained in Aberdeen, you can't help but be inspired by Brian Danielson.
Right.
Of course.
Of course.
He like if it wasn't for him, like I don't know if I would have taken the leap like to go to RWA in Aberdeen. One of the biggest stars of this generation from Aberdeen, and you're like, oh shit, new wrestling company opening up in Aberdeen. There must be something in the water, like So he's a huge inspiration to me too. I love submission work. I'm 6'2". I have these long like limbs. I got long arms, long legs, and so I really want to work more, submissions and that kind of stuff into my work. Other than that, like I just, it's basic and it's cheesy, but I just love chopping so much. It's
Strong
like
style,
it's so fun.
you could say.
Yeah, strong style. It's so fun, and I love being able to see marks. Like
Sure.
I love being and
It
like
adds some
that match with
violence.
that match with Draven you saw. Nobody could really catch it, but that's the first time I've actually technically drawn color in a match as well. He kicked me in the face, and the tread of his boot completely like scraped the shit out of my lip, and so I was spitting blood. But
You're
so
like,
I,
oh, yeah, this is what I want.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. He kicked me in the face. I went down. I touched my lip. I saw that I was bleeding, and I was like, cool.
So it sounds like you're into the violence, right?
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
into the pain, right? Okay.
Yeah. It's
How far is Mario willing to go? Are we gonna see Mario in any
Deathmatch?
death
you
matches?
know, deathmatch is a deathmatch is a little is a realm that's a whole new layer.
Are you aware of the new brand up here, the Portland Deathmatch?
I am not. No.
Oh, so Andy, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe their first event will be in October.
Yeah, they're gonna be at the Cleaver Armory.
Armory.
Yeah, here in
so
Portland.
won't be seeing Mario in any death matches, but we will see him in, I would say, hardcore cage, anything to bring yourself pain within those traditional realms.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've just seen a lot of deathmatch like film, and I don't think I want any like glass shards or anything like that.
Sure.
But when it comes to
a tables match with JB Moonshine isn't off the table.
absolutely. I was, yeah. Speaking of tables, that's kind of been like a side hustle for me, is because I build the tables for Rogue Wrestling Attractions to be used in the matches.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah. I'm the one who builds the tables.
Oh man. So
Yeah,
you're like a
yeah.
table supplier.
Yeah. So
How big
it's
does that keep you?
It's literally nothing crazy. It's more of a personal deal that I've worked out with Kenny Cash. Like if a certain wrestler wants a table in their match, Kenny directs them to me. Or if there's like a training coming up, and Kenny's like, well, yeah, if there's a training coming up, he'll be like, hey, I'll waive your fee for this training if you build a table for the next show.
Oh,
and I'm like,
wow.
yeah. So it's stuff like that. I find a lot of value in it, and I take pride in the fact that like something I've created is helping the show like add like layers.
Oh yeah, and it's no secret we as wrestling fans want tables.
We want tables.
Absolutely.
You're in a good business.
Yeah, well, and it's like you don't see, how it's so hard to find like regular like like the banquet tables now. you know.
They're mostly like plastic ones these days.
Yeah, and I hate the plastic ones. When I see somebody go through a plastic table,
go through them.
No, well,
it's go through the wood ones.
I think so too, and it makes a better sound, and like
it's just that
especially
classic, you know.
Yeah,
aesthetic.
and with the wooden tables, you can reuse the legs. You can just unscrew the legs and then reuse them. But if it's a plastic table, like the legs are going to get bent both ways, you know, when you go through it, and it's just crap.
Yeah, and that sounds like that's not how I want to take a pile driver.
No. So to advertise my table making hustle. I have a post on my Instagram about it from ages ago. It's me putting one of my good friends, Hanson, through a table that I made. It's the first one, and I cut a promo afterwards. But if you if you zoom in on the video, you can notice I did a spine buster to him essentially. And
good.
Yeah, I spine busted him through the table. But the way I did it, I took the entire force of the table crash. It was all my elbow and my forearm because I swung and elbowed down, you know, with him in like the hug. And so he took no fucking impact at all. He was fine, you know.
Like bear hug.
Yeah, essentially. And you know, I turn around to do the promo and I try to raise my left arm to talk to, like, you know, point to the camera, and I'm like, oh, that hurts. And so you see me switch arms in the video. But we had one take, so I had to deal with what I had.
Did you end up being all right? Was it a shoulder, an elbow?
Oh, I literally just like, you know, just like crashed my forearm and elbow through. I'm fine. It was nothing crazy. Like, it was just like a bit of like shock, like in the moment, but it's whatever. I've had a lot worse doing a lot less.
That's great.
I saw on your Instagram actually some gear that you had that was Bray Wyatt inspired.
Yes.
What drew you to that, and kind of like is that kind of like the character you kind of want to do, or like character wise are you trying to go somewhere else?
No, I wouldn't say I'm trying to. No, not character wise. I love Terry Funk, which is in that same post, and I love Bray Wyatt. You know, they just both happen to wear the striped pant gear. You know, which the original inspiration for getting red and black striped gear was so in RWA. I've done every role you can think of except for be the match announcer. I've commentated, you know, I've been like a gimmick runner. I've refereed, you know, I still do ring crew before and after shows, you know, now I wrestle, you know, I used to run the social media for RWA. I've done everything under the sun for RWA. And so the chain of events was, I'm wearing these black and red stripes to pay homage to when I was a referee. And I still kind of follow that in a way with like my commentator is when I was a commentator as well, because I would wear these like these very like brightly colored, flamboyant, like button down shirts. And so I brought those along when I transitioned to a wrestler as well. So now it's when you see Mario, you're going to see Mario in probably bright clashing patterns and colors. Like, I'm going to catch your eye.
Yeah.
Yes, loud. So yeah, it just became like a happy accident. I'm like, oh, like these pants are like, they attribute to my past as a referee, and they also you know, match Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk's gear. And that post you're referencing, that was one where I commentated, and I wore the pants because Bray and Terry had passed away both during that previous week. And I was on vacation when I found out Bray passed away, and it broke my heart. It broke my heart so bad. You know, God, when did they debut in WWE? 2013?
I think, yeah, pretty close.
2013, 2014. You know, I was a teenager when they debuted. You know, I was following along with the Wyatt family as as they went along, and they in their journeys. And so to have two members of the Wyatt family now not be with us anymore, it's heartbreaking. And I just wanted to pay an homage to them in what way I could.
Sure.
Yeah, that's all.
How do you feel about what they're doing with the Wyatt family these days? Are you keeping up? Do you
Yeah.
watch?
Yeah, I don't have cable, so I don't like watch as it happens, but
Sure.
I watch like the clips. Yeah, social media highlights and all that stuff. I did watch SummerSlam, which I thought was great. I thought it was really fun. But I love the Wyatt Six. I think it was a great way to bring interest into some talent that weren't being used properly.
Fully.
I think Loomis's new look is
You like the dreads?
Dude, I don't usually I don't like dreads on white guys, but but the spooky with like the Kevin Sullivan X on his head, like it just works.
Do you think they're real? Is it a wig?
The dreads?
Yeah,
it's extensions for sure. It's
like,
extensions.
Yeah, okay. Because I was just
like maybe it's real out to like 6 inches or so, maybe, but it's
Sideshow Bobby. But then
It's
they
probably
got
like the Luchasaurus thing, like Luchasaurus has some attached to his mask.
but
yeah.
But he doesn't wrestle with a mask, Andy.
Well, okay, fair.
Speaking. Okay, so let's put it back to you and kind of your career.
Sure.
Kind of, who would you put? You've had 5 matches under your belt, right?
Yep.
Many more to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you could pick 3 of your toughest opponents out of those 5, and then choose 3 you're really looking forward to anywhere in your career.
Oh, sure.
Who would those first 3 be that you've been through in the inception?
So, funny enough, I've only had 3 different opponents within my 5 matches.
In those 5 matches?
So, yeah.
Tell me about them.
My first, let me think. My first 2 match, I have a interstate rivalry with this guy named Big Nasty Logan, who kind of came up along.
Not sound like a guy you want to pick a fight with, Mark.
No, he is a bastard. But I've had 3 matches against him now, and many other interjections and stuff like that. My debut was coming out from behind the commentator's desk and bitch slapping him in the ring, and then getting World's Strongest slammed out of my shoes. So that led into my first match, which was against Big Nasty, which I got dogged on, because he's 300 pounds, big,
that's in the name.
Big and definitely nasty. Yeah, he is. Yep. And then second match was also against Big Nasty, but that was in BCW. So we have wrestled in 2 different states against each other. So that's cool. And then he had a match in RWA where I came out as the special guest referee and distracted him, so he got clapped in the back by a chair.
The Lord was thicker.
He ended up winning the match, but I'm just glad I'm messing with his head. That's all it is.
Head game's an important one to play.
And let me tell you,
yeah.
So he is a hometown boy in Ocean Shores, where we do the RWA shows. Gotcha. Every time we're there, half plus that crowd is a Big Nasty fan, and they do not like Mario. They don't. Yeah. They don't like me, and I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with that. So the way I see it is, every time I'm in Ocean Shores, even if I'm not against Big Nasty, the Ocean Shores crowd better be prepared because I'm going to be around the corner waiting to screw him over or to mess with his head or to make their day worse, because they can't stand me, but I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to stay right here and make him more mad, because it makes me laugh. Oh my God. I had people who were older than dust flipping me off at the last show.
It's good to follow your passions and the things you love, Mario.
Bothering Big Nasty is definitely a passion.
All right, so we got Big Nasty.
Yep. And then second hardest, I would say Draven,
Yeah,
just
we're gonna go with
because,
Draven.
because the intensity was different, you know. But the only reason why he's not number one is because I've just the prestige of not prestige, but the continuation of the story with Big Nasty is just so good.
Sure.
But Draven hits hard, and that Death Valley driver did not feel good.
Yeah, I don't think they're supposed to, man.
No, they don't. And then my most recent match in Rogue Wrestling Attractions was against this guy named Quinn Justice, who, if you can imagine a Power Ranger crossed with a Stormtrooper, the Pink Power Ranger specifically, Pink Power Ranger, but plus Stormtrooper, essentially. Okay. That's what he was.
With the Stormtrooper background, agility from the Power Ranger background.
Yeah, and he yeah. I had a lot more. I kicked his ass. Me and Rat King came. Rat King was out there as his manager, or pardon me, as Rat King was out there as my manager. Because he's my coach. And after the 1, 2, 3, we went back in there and did a fun little tag team move on him from Rat King's past.
Sounds like you guys are aligned then.
A little bit. It's more like personal between me and Rat King. I haven't really branched that connection. The other ways so far, but it's a little more personal right now.
Don't put a title on it.
Yeah. But Quinn Justice for 3. But it was still a challenge. So before the match, when we were building the ring, I was sliding in the ring to do something, and I banged my knee on the steel of the ring post.
Oh.
My knee didn't raise high enough, and so I was on the floor for about 5-10 minutes. It was right on my kneecap. I couldn't walk. But I'm glad it happened. I was fine. I did the match. I won, so that's all that matters.
That's true.
I iced it before the match. I was taking ibuprofen, all that stuff.
Broken freaking knee.
Yeah. It did, but it sucked because during the match, Quinn was down in the corner, and I was just walking towards him, and he full foot right in my bad kneecap.
Did he know?
And yeah, he knew. He knew.
He knew.
Yeah, he knew. Well, he knew that the knee was bad. I don't know if he knew he hit me in the bad knee. I can't say it was intentional. I'm not gonna throw the
spots.
I'm not gonna throw the shade. He was doing his job. But it sucked. I went down immediately, and I had to. You could see on my get ups, I was favoring on the one leg. But
how's that now?
It's better now. It wasn't good for 2.5-3 weeks. Because there was some fluid buildup. Behind the knee. Oh. Yeah, it wasn't good. But lots of icing, lots of stretching, treadmill, that kind of stuff. It eventually wore its way back down. So it's better now.
So feeling better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Good. And then let's talk about three opponents you maybe want to any level at some point in that career from Mario down the line.
I will keep just because of my current field view, of where I'm at.
Sure. Yeah.
I will keep it within the bounds of my areas of BCW, RWA.
Northwest.
Yeah. We'll keep it there.
Love it. Love that.
So I think. He's only done a couple small spots. He's not fully licensed yet. He's still training. But I had mentioned before, my best friend Hanson has to be on there. We've known each other for 12 years. I dragged him along to join RWA after I was in it for about 6 months, and he's been committed to it as well. So we do everything together, and I want an excuse to beat the shit out of him.
I don't want to tag. I want to fight him.
I mean, we can tag after. We can tag after. We can hug and all that afterwards. But we need to beat the shit out of each other first.
All right. Hanson's on the list. You're on the
Absolutely.
list.
Number 2. Boy, let's see.
That's cool. I mean, take your time, think about it. You know who else?
So I would have to say, oh God, I think it just because it's right there in front of me. I think eventually I wouldn't. Who knows when? But I would love to have a match against Rat King. I think that would be hilarious. I think that would be great. I think he's not gonna show me any give or any mercy, so I think that'll be.
Sure, no, it's proving
great. Yeah.
See what you learned.
Absolutely. He hasn't taught me everything he knows, but he's taught me everything I know. So
yeah. I don't know how much more there is down there.
Yeah. So Rat King for 2.
Cool.
Man. I've been in RWA for so long. I'm out of the original, I would call the RWA class. I'm the only one that's still here. I'm the only one that has committed to it in such a way to make it into a pride and a career and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of that, I don't know if this will ever happen. This is a pipe dream, but I want to call him out. I want to call him out because I know he'll listen to this eventually.
Here's the minute. Here we go.
I want Kenny Cash, the owner of RWA, to get his damn license so we can have a match.
Oh,
I think that would be. I've been with him since day one. I love that man to death, but I have some pent up frustrations, and I think having a match with the boss would be great.
Everybody's dream.
I kind of consider myself like the heart and soul of RWA because of how much I've been there and how much I've done, and I think the heart and soul versus the owner would be a fun time.
Beautiful. There we have it. We've got Hanson, we've got Rat King, we've got Kenny Cash.
Absolutely.
You've been called out.
Called out.
Oh yeah. I think the only one who's ready right now is Rat King, but who knows when that'll happen.
But you're ready, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It'll be great.
Fuck yeah.
That's awesome. What would you say are some short-term goals and some long-term goals for you while you pursue this?
I need to get stronger. That's just a fact. I'm still young, but I'm 6'2", 200 pounds, but I still feel so small and so undersized in this world of wrestling. Totally. And so I just need to get bigger and stronger. I've had a few injuries in the past that, stagnated me for a while and have affected certain things. And so I need to just really get my ass into overdrive and, really attack that head on. So getting stronger, taking full care of my health is a big one. That's I would say that's a short and a long term.
Totally.
But
forever, man.
Yes, a good long term is the rest of this year I'm fairly committed to BCW and RWA, but in 2025 I would love to expand my horizons to other promotions.
Any in mind? Off the cuff?
None specifically. I've trained at SOS in Tacoma a few times. I love the people there. I would love to wrestle there. I think that'd be really fun. But other than there, not really. Just anywhere that'll be happy to have me. Anywhere where I'm not going to be stepping on toes. Anywhere where I can be a real help to whatever they're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Trying to think of another short-term one. I make a lot of my merch at home. A lot of it's homemade, and what I don't make at home is outsourced to other local wrestlers. So I would love to harness my my merch craft, I guess you could say.
We talking design? We talking
Yeah, absolutely.
items?
Production, design, all that sort of stuff. I would
Yeah.
love to like find different artists to do stuff for me. I have an amazing commission done by this artist called Warden on my Instagram page. It's kind of like a comic book kind of style. It's very cool, and I have those as prints and stickers now. I want to do more stuff like that, but also so these bandanas, I make these at home. I have a whole craft room. Yeah. And so I would love to get the process for these more down packed, because these are really like my staple.
Yeah.
So I would say hone my merch craft is another goal for sure.
Yeah, because those sunglasses, those shades are dope.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you bought a pair of sunglasses. That's right. Yeah, thank you.
Hey,
And
wears
we're
them
gonna
all
go
the
watch some
time.
wrestling on Saturday, and I'm busting them out for that.
Sweet. Yeah, dude, it's been so bright. Yeah, please do.
Yeah. Those are dope.
So yeah, speaking of the merch and with those sunglasses, I've been in the works trying to like redesign the sunglass design for a while, because the MD on there, I've had people like I'm not trying to like expose myself here, but like I've had people say like, oh, the symbol fell off, which I'm like, all right, cool. So I need to find a way to either keep it on better or to maybe engrave it or something like that. Like
where my head went, I was like,
yeah,
engraving kind of
yeah.
like, oh, like a nice frosted thing would.
Yeah, I bought an engraver, so I've been in the works with that recently. So yeah,
mine are still on, but I know how to take care of nice things.
Yes, I appreciate it.
I'm not some jabroni out there with sunglasses like fucking around. Classy events only.
Awesome, yeah.
Let's talk about kind of aspirations for. You mentioned you're a fan of the strong style. You mentioned you're a fan of the sort of more technical submission style. What kind of submissions do you kind of eventually want to incorporate into that arsenal of yours? Is there like a move you used to watch, an anaconda vice? Is there like a figure four kind of thing that you would always kind of wanted to incorporate? And are you thinking of anything new, any kind of body part that you would like want to target that you don't see a lot?
I don't know how or who I could do this on.
Okay. Immediately interesting, but go ahead.
Because I got long limbs, so I could do this if I really practiced and got it down. I would love to do AJ Lee's Black Widow. I think that would be insane. I don't know if I've ever seen a male wrestler do that move. Not that I can think of.
Nothing's coming immediately to mind.
Like maybe somebody on the indies that I'm not aware of, but not that I can think of, not that I've seen. So I would love, I would love to incorporate the Black Widow and because it's so eye catching.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the only times that you kind of see that are like, say like a Zack Sabre Jr. on a bigger opponent,
Yeah.
And it's not really like a submission, more so like he's being lifted up. So that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be really fun, and I don't know if anybody would expect it in the crowd, and
sure. Yeah,
and I have the flexibility for it. I've always been like very just weirdly flexible. I think I might be like hypermobile or whatever they call it, but because
that's an advantage in this business.
Yeah, because with like a hammerlock, I can have my elbow completely ranged in between my shoulder blades, completely wrenched like this, and it not hurt. I'd be fine. Freak shit. Like I've always been able to put my leg behind my head. Always been able to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm a freak.
I wonder how you could do that and turn that into a submission. If you could. Yeah,
it'd be like.
Your stomach would kind of have to be on the canvas. You'd have to grab them. You'd have to like pin their feet with your foot.
If they were on their stomach.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
move right now.
Hold on. I got this. If they were on their stomach, and I sat on their back, I could wrench my leg around their neck and go and maybe put it by my head, possibly.
And we are just doing a chokehold with extra leverage at that.
Yeah, a chokehold with unnecessary bullshit.
But hey, we love that.
We do, absolutely.
Yeah, we love this pro wrestling.
Absolutely.
So, all right. I hope to see that one day.
I'm kind of interested.
That?
I've never.
What are we calling that?
Oh God.
Lock?
I mean, it's kind of like a triangle in its own way, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like,
yeah,
it's.
But yeah, so then if you get the arm in there.
Yeah, maybe something like the Forbidden Triangle because it shouldn't work.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, or like the something triangle. I think I'll have to think on that.
Yeah. I just think, you seem to have a mind for it. You're just starting like the more innovation.
Oh, I'm definitely an ideas guy for sure.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see how you make people tap in the future.
I'm definitely looking forward to it too.
So yeah, definitely we got a Black Widow. What else is there to play with? There's surfboards.
Ooh.
What kind of started coming back? I feel like the cattle mutilation.
I'm trying to think of what well, speaking of triangles, I would love to do Hell's Gate. Taker is on my Mount Rushmore for, just because of the character work and the longevity and the aura. And so when he incorporated the Hell's Gate, I think that was super cool. And that's also another thing I have the long legs for. And
yeah, that's true.
I think that'd be really fun. So definitely the Hell's Gate for sure.
And that's untouched. That's like an untouched move right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Black Widow, like the Hell's Gate, like I don't know of anybody who's like doing these things.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm sounding ignorant here, and I don't know like what I'm talking about, but like at least I haven't seen it.
Yeah, listeners, if you call it out on our Instagram,
please
see anybody like that, point them in our direction. Either way, he's going to be cooking up OG moves. Any way this goes. Speaking of, Andy, what else? Do you have anything else? Because he just brought it up, so like I was going to cut straight to it.
Go for it.
Okay, so we love to close these out. You kind of brought it up, so this segues perfectly. What is Mario Defederici Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
Oh yeah.
Brought up Taker.
All right, yeah, Taker's on there for sure. The longevity, the aura, like it, the way he impacted me when I was a child, like that can't be replaced. And then I can't not put Bryan Danielson on there. He has to go on there because again, if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would start my career. Like I said before, how I'm not I can appreciate the athletics of wrestling as much as anybody can, but I'm all about the character work. I'm all about, like how somebody makes you feel and how they present themselves. So staying in that vein, I'd have to put Sting on there as well.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, because again, just longevity, like the different impacts he's made, how many companies he's been in, it's insane. The final spot, God, that's hard. That's always hard. Jeez.
The fourth spot, you always tell somebody, and then you wake up in the middle of the night about 2 days later, and you're like, no.
I think my safe pick. I think my safe pick that I can't would be Bret Hart. I would have to say Bret. I have a signed
dangerous pick B.
My danger. Oh, jeez. I see. That's the thing. Like one that is probably like that I would argue with people on, but nobody. I don't know. I've never seen anybody else put on their list is William Regal. Like.
Wow, and that's isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I've never seen him on another Mount Rushmore, but he would be an arguable favorite, like an honorable mention.
Even in just sheer impact, and then you have a theme of longevity, like it's crazy that's so uncommon, isn't it?
Yeah. William Regal is he. Like the work he did in NXT, especially on screen and behind the screens for that brand, like
totally.
That
was a great era.
I also he's definitely just up there as well because I'm a big Ozzy Osbourne head and Black Sabbath head. So like when he says "War Games" and then War Pig starts playing, like that shit gets me every time. That gets me every time.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
It was special when he said that.
Oh
War
my god,
Games,
it
came
hits
back,
every
it was
time.
like, oh, so good.
Mm-hmm. It's so good.
So with that, man, let's go ahead and recap stuff to plug. Where you
Yeah.
can be, what you
All
do
right.
next, where can we buy your merch? Hit it.
So I don't have a digital merch store or anything set up, but if anybody is interested in buying something from me, you know, my Instagram is always open. I also have a business email, which is bookmariod@gmail.com.
That
You know,
Instagram handle?
M Defederici. So Defederici is DEFEDERICI. M Defederici. And you can find me at BCW, which is Pacific Northwest Blue Collar Wrestling, which is in Portland. They perform every first and third Sunday of every month. You know, I'm there fairly consistently, you know, and also I will be at RWA as long as RWA is operating. So that is Rogue Wrestling Attractions. You know, we are based out of Aberdeen in Ocean Shores, you know, Grace County, or Grace Harbor, Washington. And we, us at RWA, will be going to Spokane on September 14th. You know, our first like big expansion to the eastern part of Washington, and we are all very excited. And I hope all of you guys can, you know, come out and support any of you guys who are based in Spokane.
Beautifully done.
Yeah,
Well
can't
done.
wait
So
to
go
see
check
you.
that shit out. Yeah. And Andy, take us home.
Cool. And with that, thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget to follow us at Pacific Wrestling Network on the Instagram. We'll be posting a bunch of videos. And of course, Mario will be there. And
Absolutely.
so don't forget.
And be glorious.